Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Casks-n-Que, where whiskey and barbecue meet. I'm your host, Justin Lloyd, and today I have with me a very special guest,
Quentin May.
So we are going to review an awesome whiskey today. I'm excited about this one. It's the Weller Full Proof.
Well, I mean, I've never had this whiskey. This is one that I've wanted to try for a long time, so I'm really excited about this.
Good. So it's first for him, and we will.
Dibba.
Good. It's a first for him, and we will be right back. Hey, thanks for sticking around. Q knows a lot about this one, so we're going to let him go ahead and do the intro to this whiskey.
I don't know that I know a lot about this one particularly, but I grew up around W.L. Weller. Growing up, my grandfather, old Granddaddy May, always had at the farmhouse, in the second farmhouse in the freezer, he'd have a little bottle of W.L. Weller. And he'd go have one shot in the morning, one shot in the evening. That was all he'd have.
I like him already.
And the Full Proof here, for a long time, there was just the W.L. Weller Special Reserve. And then in the recent expansion of the bourbon trade industry, Weller has released a whole lot of different expressions of Weller. There's the Weller 12-year, aged 12 years. There's Weller CYPB, which was a result of a competition where they put out to create your perfect bourbon, and they picked the best mash bill. Antique 107, which was an old 107 proof recipe they had. Well, this Full Proof is basically the Weller that I grew up with, sneaking drinks from my grandfather's bottles and the same. But even though that was an 80 proof, this is the Full Proof version of that. That's not the diluted that was bottled down. So, like I said, this is extremely difficult to find. And I'm grateful that you're going to allow me to drink this with you, because I've always wanted to try this. I'm really looking forward to this.
So I mean, when you mentioned you're grateful to try it, if you haven't ever seen the documentary Neat, they talked to the master, well, I guess the guy that's kind of in charge of like the tours of Buffalo Trace, the distillery. I can't remember the guy's name, but he mentioned, long story short, his brother and his dad, and they were all supposed to get together and drink some whiskey. I think somebody passed away and they never got the chance. And so it's always one of those deals. His dad was like, you always drink the whiskey.
Always drink the whiskey. And for those that don't know, William Larue Weller is one of the forefathers of whiskey in American whiskey. So one of the things about it that puts a lot of people off is that W.L. Weller, in general, all of their expressions are wheated bourbons. So, whether it's the Special Reserve, the 12-year, the Full Proof, the Antique 107, they're all wheated bourbons, which means the mash bill is a very wheat-heavy bourbon. And so there's a widely held speculation that the mash bill in the Wellers is the same mash bill that is in Pappy, the Pappies.
Right. That's why you can mix certain Wellers together and get the poor man Pappy.
Yeah, and so that's why they say Weller itself is the poor man's Pappy, because they say it's the same basic mash bill.
Right.
Whether or not that's true, we'll never know, because that's a closely guarded secret by Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, and that whole history goes way back to Stitzel, and I mean, you can really go down the rabbit hole. But that's not what we're here for. Yeah. We're here to drink the whiskey.
We're here to drink this and tell you what we think of this.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm really looking forward to this.
Of course, man. So let's give this a pour, and we're going to be right back.
Drinking whiskey with my friends.
Salute.
Cheers, brother.
So this one is, I mean, it's a special whiskey. I don't think it really needs any introduction. I mean, if you're here watching this, you know something about
You
Weller.
probably know about Weller already.
Yeah. I mean, there's Special Reserve, which is fine.
It's the best $25 bottle of whiskey out there to me.
Yeah, it's really.
But I love a good wheated bourbon.
I do too. Why don't we go to the nose on this and see what we got?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Oh my God.
Isn't that great?
You're immediately getting a big honeysuckle and grass right off the top.
Right off the bat, for sure.
Oh, man. I can already tell you this is going to be a treat.
And the darkness of the barrel.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. The deep amber.
Yeah, it really is.
It's so dark. Mm-hmm. And then it comes across so light and...
It's very complex.
Oh, man.
And very luxurious.
Oh, man. Thank you. I appreciate this.
Absolutely, brother.
I'm looking forward to this.
Let's go to the palate.
What's this proof?
114.
It doesn't come across as 114. There's a little heat.
There's heat.
But it's so smooth.
It's so smooth, and it coats the mouth. The mouthfeel on it is velvety. It's full of flavor. It's wheat forward, of course. I think you're getting some dark fruits. You're getting a little bit of honey. You're getting a little bit of vanilla. Actually, a lot of vanilla.
I don't know if when I think of honey vanilla, it's almost more like if you go to Texas Roadhouse and you get that cinnamon butter.
Oh, that shit's awesome.
It's like a big mouthful of cinnamon butter with a little bit of heat in it. It's so good.
It is.
This is a fantastic whiskey, folks.
Yep.
Wow.
It's one that's, I mean, it's a quintessential whiskey. It's everything that you hear about, and I don't think it falls short in any category.
This is fantastic. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
That did not disappoint. Nose,
The nose is just
the nose is
full
fantastic.
and bold.
The one thing I'll say is I kind of expected the finish to be a little longer. Mm-hmm. It's not really.
It's not real long.
It's pretty abrupt. Not that that's a bad thing, but I kind of expected it to hang in there.
But if you're drinking a whiskey of that magnitude, you expect the finish to be longer. I agree. But I think where it compensates for that is in your face flavor.
It's so much in your face. Yeah, within a few seconds, it fades away pretty good.
It does.
And honestly, what's kind of crazy is think about this. Right on the back end of that little abrupt finish, see if you don't taste a little bit of almond. Something a little bit nutty right on the back end. Isn't that insane? How you get you get the grass and the...
You know the best part of old... this is really almost sacrilege comparing the two. Have you ever had Old Granddad 114?
Oh, yeah.
At the very back, that nutty flavor that you get.
Honestly,
it's
one of
the best part of old...
And we'll go ahead and throw this out. The Old Granddad 114 is one of the best inexpensive bottles you can ever get.
Absolutely. And... man, I hate to even intertwine the two or mention the two in the same sentence.
What's weird about it is you don't get anything nutty throughout the nose or the the initial palate, but it's right on the very tip end of the finish.
It is.
There's a little bit something, either almond, maybe, I don't know.
Something.
It's not even pecan. It's more of a sweet nut.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, pretty good.
I mean, the nose especially, man. I can't get past it. I could sit there and nose this glass. And I have some tap water over here but I almost feel like that's
I don't even want it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say a little bit of water, a little bit of ice will open it up and show you some new layers.
Some whiskeys, that's true, but sometimes it just doesn't.
This one's so complex right on the front end. There's a lot going on. And honestly, it's so complex and big. I mean, there's red fruit, there's wood, there's shoe leather,
yes.
There's so much going on. This is not your light whiskey. This isn't the one that's going to have citrus and that. This is not that. This is a more full-flavored whiskey. You get a little bit of the grass and honey from the wheated part, but everything else is oak, shoe leather.
It's not an introductory.
Black cherry. Yeah,
cherry.
This one's got, after you get past that little bit of wheated initial flavor, everything about this is big, bold, and in your face.
Absolutely. It's not an introductory whiskey. So
share it judiciously.
Exactly. Yeah, the black cherry, man. Good call.
Black cherry and the oak. Man, the oak. They did the big, strong flavors. And there's nothing that really just overpowers. It's actually a really well-balanced whiskey.
It's very well balanced.
That's why, I mean, I had to look. I said, wait, 114? But we've tried some that are in the 90 to 100 range that haven't been this well-balanced and smooth.
For sure.
This is an outstanding pour.
There's a little bit of numbness on the lips, which I think that's awesome. I like that.
Thanks again for this. This has been an absolute treat.
Yep.
This is amazing.
The legs. Have you noticed the legs on it?
Oh, yeah. And I don't know if you can see
Teardrops
this.
for days.
You know, you can see just how the viscosity of it is fantastic. Mm-hmm. So, it's definitely a whiskey for the ages.
Yeah. As per usual, we give a rating 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the badass whiskey. We go by taste, value, and availability. So,
obviously, my big hiccup here is availability. That you can't find this. I'm just lucky that the whiskey god here happened to have a bottle that we could try. Otherwise, if you're just a casual observer, if you find this, you've gotten lucky. I've never found it in the wild, and it's one of the ones I'm always looking for. And I've been doing this a long time. Mm-hmm. Taste-wise, it's if I could give a 6 on a 5 just for taste, I would. It's fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. I don't even know what this goes for retail. It's a couple $100, $250. So that's my problem. If we're using these 3 criteria, taste, value, availability as our criteria to vote 1 to 5, I mean, honestly, as much as I love it from a taste standpoint, I've got to give it about a 2.5.
I know.
Because you can't find it, and when you do, it's super expensive. But if we were just basing it just on the juice itself, I'd give it a 6 or a 7 out of 5.
I feel the exact same way. I think my score would be a 3, just because I have found it.
Rub it in.
Well, I won't get too much into that because we shouldn't. I will say that, like you mentioned, if we're just going by taste and we take the availability out of it, it scores out of the roof. It blows 5 out of the water. It goes beyond that. You almost can't speak to the complexity and the mouthfeel of it. I mean, you can't put it into word, or I can't. I don't have the vocabulary to express really what it is.
It's like a great work of art that you see in the Louvre. Like, you can write an essay about it and describe it and talk about it all you want, but at the end of the day, words can never fully capture the beauty of that work of art, right?
That's
like
right.
the Mona Lisa or any
Words
of those
fall
great
short.
words fall short, and that's where it is here. We can tell you about it all you want, but there's only so much we can rave about this whiskey from a flavor standpoint, and a palate and a finish and all this, and give you notes. It's really truly one of a kind. It's great. You see it in a restaurant, spend the $60 or $80 for the pour.
For sure.
Once. It's one of those things that everybody should do it once.
Yep.
Spend the money
It's a
and
bucket
get it.
list whiskey.
You'll be glad you did.
Yep, totally agree. I think that wraps us up for today. If you like what we're doing here at Casks-n-Que, consider liking, subscribing, and smashing that bell. When you smash that bell, lets you know that we've uploaded a new video, and it helps us out a lot. We're a small channel, we appreciate it. So once again, I'm Justin Lloyd with Casks-n-Que.
Quentin May.
And we'll see you next time.